born an athlete, you'll die an athlete. It's in your DNA.
You're an athlete. Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes.
It's into another episode of the Gym Closet. I'm here as always with Amber and Zach. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hello.
Special guest today, Josh Vannornam. I'm trying to get his last name. Coach Josh Vannornam is with us today. So we're going to interview him, get to know him a little bit. He coaches primarily over at Waukee, bounces around a little bit. So if you've been over at West Des Moines, you've probably seen him a little bit as well. Welcome, guys.
Thanks.
What's up?
How's your guys' snowstorm? You guys said you were pretty bored.
It's
Did
fun.
you have PT clients yesterday? Or did they
Yeah.
cancel on you?
No, I had
Nice.
most of them, yeah.
Dedication,
They're
right there.
dedicated, yeah.
Gosh.
Yes.
Josh, you were bored though?
Yep, the last 2 days of at home drink coffee.
That cat's
Right.
That cat's keeping you busy, right?
Yeah,
What would you do without that cat?
sleep more.
Yeah,
Does it keep you up?
Yeah, like so I get up like 4 sometimes. It's up before. And,
Just
Bounce
to
off
jump
the
on your
mirror.
head or what?
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
yeah, so I had to get up and lock her outside the door.
Then that should
She
meow.
meows. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my dog's been getting me up a lot too to like go outside, which is
Yeah.
weird. Probably because he's so mad that he lost in the first round of our craving this week.
Craving.
Yeah, he
Get
got
us somewhere
bullied.
already.
Yeah.
He definitely got bullied. That was I saw him on Instagram even asking for votes. So
He
that-
was
that
asking for
cute.
votes and no one
Well, he
cared
didn't
or
look too
obliged.
excited about it. That was a problem. He
He
just
was-
kind of glared at it. He didn't.
I know,
He should have
yeah.
done like a backflip or something. That would have been way
Yeah.
cooler.
He's actually pretty athletic for a bulldog.
He would have
Pretty-
definitely won with
Yeah.
a backflip.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. But yeah, so we'll have our craving winners announced. Boxer got beat up too.
Second round.
Yep. But of the week, word of the week, and then Amber's got some female athlete slash.
I'm gonna need your all help, like everyone's help.
We have a statement.
I don't really
Yeah,
know.
she has a statement. She's
Well,
gonna do
you
her
put
research.
the pressure on me to like
To
come
do-
up with these female athletes in the news, and there's really not any right now. So
Yeah, there is. There's several, but you just didn't want to read a story.
who?
What's that? You're going to tell us later, but let's get into craving. So we're going to get into this last one was dog breeds. We had, what do we all have?
Mutts or mixed dogs, golden retrievers, labs, dachshunds, bulldogs. What else was in there?
Boxer and Yorkie.
Boxer and Yorkie.
Yeah.
And
The winner
the
was
winner
golden retrievers.
was golden by, it was 128 to 109 in the finals, beat Lab, which Lab came up on the boxer side and just killed the boxer, is that right?
Yep.
Or no, Golden did.
No, golden was on.
Golden beat Bulldog right away, and then, which I knew it would, because
Was it golden and boxer?
you knew Golden was
I
going to
think it
win
was
right from the
Golden
start,
Boxer.
so.
So obviously, so this is, we were doing the animal stuff because of our power partner with the ARL. So we have a couple different opportunities still at the end of this month on the 30th, which is this Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
11?
this Saturday.
11 o'clock.
Yep,
So
11 to 3
11 to
this
3
Saturday. 30th.
this Saturday. At ARL, we have volunteer opportunities. So if you're in the gym, you can sign up at the front desk at both locations. Try to get about 20 people. If we have more, then we might have to do another weekend, but that's great. And then what do we got next? We got one more thing next month with them or no?
No,
that the last
I think
thing?
that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Just
it.
the selfies.
Well, and the pet selfies,
Pet
too,
selfies,
yeah.
yes, that's what I
that'll
was
keep
thinking.
going
So-
all the way through.
So yeah, so the pet selfies have slowed down. So make sure if you have a pet, grab your pet, take a selfie, and post it up. Tag us at Krave Gym and then hashtag Krave Gym ARL. And
I think we're at 21 about.
nice. 21 pounds is all.
That's it.
That's it.
I
We
think
had
last year we had
hundreds
like
last year.
100.
Yeah, we had 100 some last year, so.
Yeah. So we need to
But
get,
I think
we
a lot
need
of
to get
people
on that
did come
selfie game.
through at the end, but we gotta just
It's just that
stay
reminder,
consistent,
yeah. That's the thing.
Consistency.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
consistency.
Wow, look at these segues.
We gotta stay consistent. Yes, so that's a great segue into. We will actually. Sorry, before we move on, we'll have a new craving out. We haven't decided what it would be. So with the snow days, we haven't done enough thinking of the podcast here.
With the snow days?
With something. I don't know. Why are we so unprepared this week?
I don't know.
This week?
This week.
Well, I don't know. No excuses.
I'm blaming it on the snow days.
That's fine.
Got our minds off of the podcast.
It doesn't feel like a Tuesday. I know that. I don't know why.
No,
I
kids
think
the
'cause
afternoon.
right.
Yeah.
And
We're
yesterday
usually
was
doing
just
this in the
kind of
morning,
a-
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels like a Monday.
Josh couldn't get out of his parking lot this morning, so we had to go this afternoon. But hopefully everybody's getting their streets plowed and they were able to get in because we're going to have sessions tonight.
Then hopefully this weekend it doesn't get too bad. But
I don't think it's supposed to do what it did again.
Yeah.
So hopefully everything can get kept up with. Because that was probably one of the first times we've had to close for a while because of snow.
yeah, for
but
night
we
and the
haven't-
morning.
But we haven't had a big snowstorm for years now here in Des Moines.
On the news, it's the 13th biggest snowstorm in Iowa history
Ever?
ever.
Yeah, I think I saw it's like the biggest one in like 11 years or something.
I was gonna say
So
it
I
must-
think 2009 was the last time we had.
the 13th. That doesn't sound super impressive. Like
I'm-
you don't,
Not when you
you're
put it
not
that
even in
way,
the top
no.
10. Like
Yeah.
like we had to cancel sessions. Why? Because the 13th
Well, that's
biggest
that's-
snowstorm ever was here. That's
Okay, it was
interesting.
the third.
The third? I like that. That's better.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the third. You heard it here first. But so then we're going to get into our wow, which the wow for this week definitely goes into kind of reiterating last week's. Last week's was discipline, and so with discipline, we talked about this is a frequent time for people to kind of give up on their goals, and whether they recognize it or not, they just stop doing some of the things they set out to do in the beginning of the year. So that's why we talked about discipline and making sure that you're going to just doing the things over and over. And again, this week's is consistency. And so consistency, again, is another reiteration of discipline, but the consistency of the things that you have to do really talks about like the practice of getting it back. The quote that we're going to use this week is, consistency is more important than perfection. And what that means is, I think anybody can do something good once, but it's very tough to do it good all the time. And so I always think about like when I was playing football, if I have a pass that I have to make, if you make it once, you can be a good quarterback. But if you, in order to be a great quarterback, you're gonna have to make that pass consistently every single time, and so that takes practice, and that takes effort to get that accomplished. So if you take that into kind of your everyday life, the consistency of doing, like the example we used last week was making sure that you're, if getting a promotion is your job or is your goal, then getting to work early might be one of those goals that you have, and being consistent in doing that would mean, waking up 10 minutes early. There's going to be days where you don't accomplish that goal, but if you're consistent on, if you're consistently putting effort towards it, then you're going to get better and better and better. Before long, it's not even going to feel like you're doing something extra. That's just going to be the time that you wake up. So, those are things that you can continue to practice and write down, if you have to. Amber doesn't have to usually, she said, but, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Amber doesn't have to write them
Amber
down.
doesn't need goals.
Yep.
She just,
Does that,
yeah.
Can I go like this?
But, if you have to write them down, if you have to think about the things that you want to do consistently, take that action, write that down, or just keep it in your mind and do those things, on a constant basis and get better and better and better at them. Same thing if you had a new goal or if you picked up a new hobby over quarantine this last year, staying consistent with that can maybe be a second income or, something that you want to get good at. If you picked up the guitar, you know that you're not just going to be good, and you might play one good song, but if you're not consistently practicing, you're not going to get better at what you're doing. So consistency, and I guess the definition, the quality or fact of staying the same at different times, especially the quality or fact of being good each time.
And I think that's huge when you show up to the gym every day. You know, I know there's days where people are not wanting to be here. Maybe you had a long day at work and you show up and you just go through the motions, but it's being consistent in that training session, and knowing that you're showing up doing your best. And so I love our training sessions too, because, you know, every other week we repeat the same lift. And I feel like that helps so much with consistency, because people, you know, I mean, back in the day, if you would do a deadlift once every 2 months, you know, you forget how that move is, and your body, that the muscle mind connection isn't there. And so I just like the consistency of, you know, showing up and knowing that, hey, I'm going to do this lift today. This is what I did last week for weight, or this is how this, you know, coach corrected me on this lift. So I think the consistency
And
helps
that's
people
even
pay off
goes,
in the training sessions.
and that even goes, you know, more specific into the consistency of like individual reps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if I feel like, okay, so if a coach has corrected me and I'm supposed to go a little bit lower, but then this rep I didn't go lower, you have to kind of feel that, let it click, and be like, okay, I need to stay consistent with my depth. So now I'm going to go a little bit lower the next rep, and just always have that in your mind. Especially, you know, that's what the coaches are here for, is to always, you know, make sure that everybody's doing the correct movements and doing them correctly. And then the consistency is always hearing that coach in your head, right? So a coach shouldn't have to come and correct you 6 times on the same, you know, if a squat, for example, if you have too narrow of a stance or something, the coach comes over and corrects you this set and says, hey, widen your stance out. You have to consistently keep that stance and feel it and hear that coach in your head for the next set. Because if the next set then you're too narrow again, that's not on the coach, that's on the athlete to stay consistent with that movement and make the adjustments that the coaches have talked about. We'll still probably yell at you for over and over and over, because that's what us as coaches, how we stay consistent, is making sure all the athletes are consistent on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You guys have any input?
No.
what do you guys
You
think?
guys nailed it.
What do you guys stay consistent on?
No, one of the
daily
things
basis?
that you know, I went back, you know, thinking back when we were talking about this to college and my time in school, one of my professors, you know, I think put it really well. I'm trying to think of like the exact quote, and I can't quite think of it off the top of my head. But basically, kind of the gist of it is, you know, you can have the perfect programming, you can have the perfect technique, you can have, you know, all, you know, the best equipment, like anything in the world that you want. But at the end of the day, if you're not consistent with whatever you're doing, you're not gonna get, you know, the results that you want out of it. You know, if you can have the best programming in the world, you can have, you know, all this stuff, but if you only show up once every, you know, 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna, you know, progress the way that you want to progress. And it's the same way with, you know, nutrition too. You know, you can nail your numbers for hitting your macros for 3 days in a row, but then if you know, are completely out of whack for the next, you know, 7 days, then again, you're not going to make that progress that you want. You know,
Right.
So it's better to be, you know, I always tell this to my nutrition clients, and you know, you're not going to be perfect every single day. It's just not going to happen. It's just not how humans operate. You know, you're never going to be perfect for, you know, a year straight. Maybe you will, but that'd be really impressive.
That'd be consistent, right?
That'd be very consistent. But, you know, it's better. I would much rather see people, you know, hitting, you know, 75% of their numbers and keeping it close, and, you know, staying consistent from day to day, and, you know, keeping things as consistent as they can, than, you know, have 1 week where they're really, really good and they hit all their numbers, and then have 5 weeks where they're way, way off.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
because then you're just bouncing back and forth, and you're not gonna, you know, make that consistent progress that you want to see. So
And the consistency, nutrition's cool too, because the more consistent you are and the closer you are to your numbers, if you're hitting, like, if you get graded out at like a 95 to 100% every single week, or even a 90%, you know, that's the consistency that can allow you to eat more across the board for longer. Meaning, if if I am inconsistent and a lot of times I'm above, which drops my score, or a lot of times I'm below, which drops my score, maybe I'm grading out at like an 80%, my numbers have to be lower in order to make up for some of my overeating, if that makes sense. So like if I'm always, my weekends are always killing my diet, well then we can put that into your nutrition, but we're going to drop your numbers so that you can equate to what you should be. But if you're at a 95% every single time and you're consistently hitting your numbers, you can eat higher because you know that you're going to be consistent. You're not going to overeat, which would ruin the entire week because you have a smaller window of deficit that you would ruin. So that smaller window of deficit, if you don't ruin it all every time you're inconsistent, that window you can eat more and see the better results. Whereas if we have to make that deficit window bigger, put you at a 600, 700, 800 calorie deficit because you are overeating 1 day or 2 days on a weekend by 700, 800, 900,000 calories, which is easy to do, then it ruins the rest of your week. And that inconsistency will make the normal days harder, And so that's kind of the cool thing is if you're consistent, like for me, for example, like my numbers, I started cutting, but mine's going to be so long that I'm trying to lose a half a pound a week. So my deficit is only 250 calories. And so I'm eating a lot and I'm able to eat a lot, but I'm only trying to lose a half a pound a week. So my deficit's smaller window. But because of that, if I was inconsistent for 3 or 4 days, that ruins this week's window and might even ruin last week's window if I overate by 1,000 calories. Now I'm ruining a lot of progress that I made, and so if I'm inconsistent with it, that makes it tougher. So keeping that in mind when it comes to nutrition, the more consistent you are, obviously the better results you're going to get, all of that kind of stuff. But the more you're actually allowed to eat in your nutrition, in your budget of macronutrients and calories, because you're not blowing it out of the water in on the weekends or random spots. So sweet.
I kind of got deep into nutrition.
I got extra scientific there.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So now we're going to talk to Josh a little bit. We're going to move on to Josh. So when did you start with us? September
8th-ish.
Great.
Exactly, yeah.
So he's been with us for, what is that now?
Close to 6 months.
6 months almost?
Yeah.
So moved from Omaha. Tell us a little bit about kind of where you grew up and then where you ended up going to school.
So I grew up in Papillion, Nebraska, suburb of Omaha. Grew up with 3 other brothers of a twin. Older brother was 10, 9 months older, and then younger brother was 2.5 years younger. Played football and ran track in high school, and then got recruited to play football in college at St. Olaf College in Minnesota, which is about 40 minutes south of the Twin Cities. Football up there, I started a powerlifting club with a couple other buddies up there from the football team.
What was that powerlifting club like? Or
Because you didn't have a strength and conditioning coach, right?
Well, we did. My freshman year, we didn't have a strength coach. And then my sophomore year, we got a whole new coaching staff. I brought in a strength and conditioning coach.
So then you started your powerlifting squad
sophomore year.
Sophomore year?
It was kind of our own thing.
Okay.
It was fun. It was different for sure.
So was it like after football that you
Yeah, it
would
was
do
in the
it, like
springtime.
in the spring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because growing up, you did like a lot of out of like football training, right? Or like
More like
sports performance
Yeah,
training.
yep.
Yeah, your mom was. I mean, your family was big into that.
Yeah.
Um.
Because even in high school, we didn't have a good program either.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That still today that and obviously that was
A few years ago, though,
years
but
ago.
yeah.
But there's you still see that today that some of the even bigger, more successful sports schools don't have a strength and conditioning program or anyone that really gives a shit about strength and conditioning in any given program.
Right.
But
that's a huge development stage for
Oh yeah,
high school athletes too, which it's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. So you kind of took it upon yourself to build that program a little bit early on, and at least have a passion for kind of you and your.
And had the help from my uncle. You guys, I believe, met too through bodybuilding.
Okay, yeah.
So he kind of guided us through that stage of it, which kind of helped a lot.
Cool.
Kinda got us started.
Nice. So, what position do you play in football?
Receiver, all through high school, and then in college I recruited at receiver, and then new coaches came, and then I put like 15 pounds of muscle on, and then played linebacker for the last 3 years, outside linebacker.
What did you run in track?
I did long jump, and then pole vault.
Oh,
So
okay,
I'm not good
nice.
at it. There's two of us. I did terrible, and it was
How
both our
much
first year.
did you weigh then?
I was like 175, 180.
That's a big pole vaulter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you have to use like the biggest pole?
Yeah, and I got over like 10 feet, maybe that was it.
Really?
And
I
then
don't know much about pole.
Oh, no,
vaulting.
is that good? Yeah.
I just knew
That's like the to qualify for like a high school meet, pretty much.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I ran track, and I always thought pole vault would be fun.
Yeah.
But I weighed too much. I was 210, I think, and they were like, "Yeah, you actually can't do it. Like, you don't have a pole." That's crazy. So,
Yeah, it's really interesting because I didn't know they had it in. Because you guys are all from Nebraska, so I mean, because in Iowa we don't have like high school pole vaulting. So like I remember, we don't have pole vaulting in Iowa. No,
Weird.
No.
That's crazy.
So we didn't have it. So like all the smaller, all the colleges, like all the D3 colleges that have track and all that stuff, like they all have pole vaulting. So all their pole vaulters, they either have to recruit from out of state or they have to like train
them.
kids like fresh.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't
insane.
do that.
Yeah.
I wonder why they don't.
It's like a safety thing.
Yeah.
They think it's unsafe.
So you guys probably don't have like flying cheerleaders either.
No. So you can cheerleading. You can fly here. Yeah.
That makes absolutely zero sense.
But in Nebraska you can't. Right?
No, you can't.
You
Right.
can't in Nebraska. We
Yeah,
can
I
here.
didn't
Yeah.
see it.
This is a big thing because
That's crazy.
my wife was a cheerleader in
Yeah.
Right.
high school and college, and now she coaches at Valley still. So yeah, it's like a big thing because they actually. This is getting way off track.
That's all right. That's what we do.
So my wife went to Wartburg, and they had it was the Iowa Intercollegiate Athletic Conference for a while, like all the D3 schools in Iowa. So it was like Central and Simpson and all those schools, and then they started having like a cheer and dance team competition every year. Well, then I think like her junior year, they brought in Nebraska Wesleyan.
Okay.
So like so it was all Iowa schools, and then this Nebraska school came in, and they had to have like their own like separate like category just for like their cheerleading squad that they won every year because they couldn't fly. Yeah.
Well,
So
my
like they won it
cousin-
every year because they're
yeah.
the only ones, but
My cousin's daughter, she does. I think they do flying, but I don't know what age they stop
That's
at.
club though. That's
Club.
not like high school.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Huh? That's so funny.
you can do it in like a club team though. I thought it was like a literal state law that you could not.
No, like clubs.
I've been
Clubs will
lied
do
to
it.
then.
Yeah, clubs will do it because I think there's clubs. I think there's like clubs even into high school age that go to competition, like a competition team that
Around
aren't
there, yeah.
associated with like high schools or whatever. But they're the high school age they can like fly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know
Because
that.
she's the one that gets thrown in the air.
She's
Yeah.
just she's
Scares
just a little
me.
one. Yeah, that's nuts.
But-
So
Yeah.
I got way off track there. Yeah.
off of our cheerleading topic, back to Josh. But so what kind of got you? Obviously, you know, when you're a freshman and you're already doing programming a little bit and getting your teammates into some more strength and conditioning that's actually provided. What kind of got you into wanting to be a coach and wanting to kind of go into the strength and conditioning field and help different athletes and kind of all of that kind of shit that we do here?
Yeah. Well, I guess my uncle and my aunt first kind of started into the kind of fitness industry, like I said, and then honestly having a bunch of injuries in high school, even in college, in the early years, kind of. I was like questioning it, like why am I getting so many injuries? My twin was getting some injuries, my brother was, and kind of doing research through college and stuff, and like looking back on like the programming, like what's happening in high school. It's like it wasn't good, so I'm guessing that's one of the reasons why we had so many injuries growing
Sure,
up.
yeah.
So that's kind of the main reason I got into it. I wanted to learn more about it and learn more about obviously the strength and conditioning field. So I guess that's one reason, the main reason why I got started into
Sure.
the field.
Awesome. So what
Yeah.
what do you like most now? Kind of now that you've been at Krave for about 6 months, what's some of your favorite things? Programming wise, athlete wise, what's on your day to day? What's your favorite things that you do?
Just being able to educate everybody. Like now that I have a degree, and being able to I guess, use the knowledge I've learned from college and just my own research, being able to apply that and actually seeing results and stuff is kind of cool, I guess, if that makes sense.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite. Obviously, anybody I think in the fitness industry, hopefully it's one of your favorite things is just seeing your athletes or seeing your clients do well, see the results that you're looking for, because that's obviously what we're here for, is to impact lives and help people in the performance side of things. So that's one of the bigger things that I think everybody has in common.
Yeah.
But what are some of your goals as far as your career and kind of what you want to do as far as coaching and all that kind of stuff?
So obviously, kind of want to work my way up the ladder here at Krave. That's one of the main goals, is to manage a Krave, run a Krave, be possibly part owner in the Krave franchise.
Definitely.
That's definitely the main goal right now.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have you working your way up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that I think culture in Krave is a big thing of what we're doing, and always trying to promote from within, and I'm always most confident in in bringing someone from someone that's worked with us and been in the program and been doing all of that kind of stuff into a management role or into a franchise role, because rather than training someone up in a couple weeks, which we do, for a franchise, someone that's been here for years and coaches and gets the athletic mindset, that's a huge part of what we do as well. So that's kind of cool. Some random stuff. What's your favorite? Are you a dog person or a cat person? You have a cat?
I'm a dog. That's the girlfriend. That's all. She wanted the cat. So I was like, I'll get you a cat.
Do it for the girlfriend.
As long
Now
as
she
she's
likes the cat, right?
Oh,
She
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it was worth it.
I guess, yeah.
Is it still a baby?
She's 4 months, yeah.
Oh.
And so, how long ago did you get it? Was it
It
about
was
2?
right 2 weeks before Christmas.
How old do cats have to be before you get them? Because I know dogs is
I'm
like
guessing
12 weeks or 18 weeks. Do you know?
I think dogs are maybe
8
12.
weeks.
8
Oh,
or-
8?
I don't know.
I think you can get. I think they.
Oh my gosh,
8 weeks
that's
is
so
when.
young.
Yeah. Is when they
Okay.
can be
Yeah.
away from their mom.
Big
So then when did
She
you
was
get
3 months when I got her.
the... Okay.
She still have her claws.
Yeah, we'll get it. This weekend we're actually getting them.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I can't
good.
do it anymore. I have so many
Those are
scratches on my
sharp.
legs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have a cat that was mean as hell. Like, it would hide under the couch, and then, when you'd walk by, it would just, get your ankle.
Yeah, cats
Oh.
are just mean.
They
honestly.
are.
I just-
You
yeah.
have-
She'd rather play with
Yeah.
my hands and feet than her toys.
Yeah.
She could
We
That's
only,
just mean.
so we had it, and then it got outside, and then we couldn't find it. And the rest is history. I
Yeah.
cried, and my mom's like, well, that's what you get for
We have a
leaving the
bunch of
door
cats out
open.
at the farm.
But yeah, I was probably 8th grade or 7th, had to get an animal, and I wanted a black cat, and that thing was the devil. Never again a cat again.
What kind of cat? What color is it?
She's a calico, call it. It's a
Yeah,
gray.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's a gray and orangish.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's cute, but
Cool.
psycho.
What's your favorite food?
Steak.
Steak.
Steak and
it is.
potatoes,
Steak
meat
and
and
potato.
potatoes,
Yep,
boy.
that's it.
Midwest guy.
Can't imagine your mom cooking steaks for all you 4 boys. We got the chance to meet them over the weekend. His parents and then his
2
brothers.
brothers, yeah.
2 of your brothers. So that was the oldest brother and your twin.
Correct, yeah.
And you have one
One
in between you guys and your oldest.
So the one younger,
Yep.
twins,
Okay.
and then older
Bless your
brother.
mom's heart. I don't know
Yeah,
how
she did
4 boys and under 4. Would you have all been under 4?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because the older boy's only 10 months older than me. With
Yeah.
twins.
yeah. And you guys look when you're all together. I'm like, this just looks like trouble.
Yeah.
This just looks like trouble.
Definitely. What was one of the things that you think you bring that you kind of learned from growing up with brothers and in that family dynamic that you kind of still hold with you today, whether it be in your career or your own fitness journey or whatever it might look like?
Say that again.
So what's something that you like growing up in that dynamic, that many brothers? What are some of the lessons that you learned growing up with them that you kind of still use in today's world? I mean, it had to make you
Competitive.
like tougher.
I'd say
and
competitive, yeah, for sure. Because I mean, we were
Now
playing video games and like that, and growing up, that's we were always outside playing football, basketball, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just beating each other up.
Then did all your brothers play sports?
Yeah,
Like, were they
we
all?
all did,
Yeah. So
yeah.
then you got that competitive edge of.
We got called the backyard games.
The good backyard
Yeah.
games. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
So like competitive was definitely part of them.
Yeah, and I think that goes obviously into everybody's athletic career, and we've talked about competitiveness in here and how sometimes it gets like a bad connotation about it when you are an adult. That people think about like over competitive people and how that's kind of a turnoff. But I think that and we talked about it again before, but I think that the big part of it is just being competitive helps be successful and helps you get to, if you're not competing against someone else, you're competing against yourself to always get better and do those things. So that's a big part of what it is. So, what else we got?
I don't know. I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. All right. So,
And Josh is open for PT clients and stuff like that. So I know your schedule's full.
My schedule is packed.
Yeah.
So and Josh is one that's with all of his background and strength and conditioning and stuff and perfecting form and working on speed and movement and stuff like that, he'd be a great one. So if anybody's interested in amping up their agility this season,
That's right.
he's
Let
your
me know.
coach. Yeah.
So and then so one last thing that we wanted to mention before we go, which is kind of emotional to me. So one of the big things that we try to do at Krave is create a culture, create a team, obviously, and I'm gonna try to get through it without tearing up over here. But so like we found out last week, we had a meeting with our landlords, talking to them, and it was interesting because it makes me wonder if they were going to ever tell us, but that's besides the point. So we found out that somebody that is still what's the word, if you don't know what they kept it anonymous. There we go.
Sorry, yeah.
So one of our one of our teammates, somebody out there went and paid a substantial amount to our landlords to help Krave out with rent, and it's super humbling. It's something that obviously we would love to say thank you. So whoever's out there that did that, thank you so much.
Give me the chills.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we want to be a team, we want to feel like a family, right? But it's one of an event like that really makes you feel that we are a family, and so a shout out to all of our athletes that continue to support us. This last year was a tough one, with all of the restrictions, couple months of being closed down, and we wouldn't have made it through without the tremendous support of all of our athletes, and then to continue that this year and to have such a big donation from somebody, we really just wanted to a huge shout out. We were going to do athlete shout outs, but I wanted to do this for all of our athletes, but especially whoever it was that made that donation on our behalf. We really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And there's not many words that can describe how much we're thankful for it, and and if you want to let us know who you are, like,
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Because it's kind of driving us crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you went to the meeting and you called me and you're like, you'll never guess what. And I'm like, oh, is this bad or good?
Right.
And you told me and I was just like, wow, that's just crazy. I mean, there are no words to put into, you know, how much that means and all the amazing people that we have in our life. So
Yeah,
thank
seriously,
you. Yeah.
you guys are the best. Yeah, seriously. Like I think about this all the time. Honestly, like I'm gonna get all emotional too. Like no, you guys are, you know, and I'm like all of us coaches are kind of in the same boat. Like Josh and Jake and all of us coaches. You know, you guys are literally helping us like pursue our dreams. You know, like this being in a place like this. Oh my god.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, seriously, no, like being in a place like this and just getting to work with people that I work with all the time and like, and yeah, how do you guys supporting us like that is awesome. Yeah,
It's a great feeling coming to work. Like
yeah,
not dreading coming to work. It's
yeah, seriously.
I come walking with a smile on my face every day just because of you guys, all the athletes here. It's a great
It's
feeling.
fun. It's
Yeah.
such a fun environment.
Yeah, we're really, you know, we're super humbled. We're so glad. We've said it a million times that, you know, we set out as a goal to create a family, a team of athletes that support each other, and this, you know, solidifies every time we have stuff like this happen, and we, you know, get the support, and we realize that, you know, we kind of can step back and kind of take inventory on how lucky we are, you know, to be in the position we're in, to get to work with everybody, you know, and to really get to live out our dreams, like you said. You know, it's one of those things. It's
And it just stems like from coaches too. Like without our coaches that we have, I mean, the community wouldn't be, because two people can only do so much, you know, and so it just stems from coaching staff and everybody. So it's an awesome thing.
so on that emotional note,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for listening. And yeah, I mean, it's tough to put into words. So thank you so much again. We'll wrap it up here. We're at about time, but so anything else before we go?
I think we're done.
All right,
I think we're done.
I think we're
I think we're done
We're
for
all
the
in
day,
tears. So remember, you're an athlete. Live like it.